Hi everyone, good evening. So guys, if you remember yesterday we have seen a brief introduction about a primitive data types. So what exactly a primitive data type is, how we are creating a simple examples in a primitive data type and all those things we have studied in the yesterday's class. In continuation with that, I want to explain a few more concepts today. Okay, so what are all the stuff we are going to study as part of the today's lecture, right? Even we need to know that particular stuff. So, as we have studied a brief introduction about the variables and as well as primitive data types, today I want to take another small concept which is methods. Okay, what is a method? How are we going to use the methods? And what is the usage of these methods? We will study as part of the today's lecture. Okay, so one second, let me open my document and then see here. Hmm, Class. Okay, 28 to 20. So the first thing is, what is the methods? Methods are created for reusability. It means one time creation and multiple times usage. Okay, one time we can create a method, and for multiple times we can use this particular methods. What exactly the meaning of this? Example, assume that I'm using an Amazon.com for the very first time, not the second time, something like that. This is the first time I'm using my Amazon.com. And I have created an account and I'm just using that. And whenever I'm using that, I'm purchasing a product for the first time. Whenever I'm purchasing a product, assume that I have used my option as a credit card for my payments. And whenever we have used a credit card for as a payment, we do have an option to fill in our card information. And just below that, there is one checkbox called Save Card Information checkbox. If you click on that, what it will happen automatically that the credit card information will be saved to your account. And moving further, whenever you want to purchase any products, you no need to enter the full card information. You can just enter the security pin and you can proceed further. The reason is that card information is already been saved to your account. Right, guys? That card information was already saved to your account. The similar way here also, if you observe that what we have done, I have created it only once, but I'm going to use it for multiple times, which we can treat it as a method. Okay, which you can treat it as a method. Okay, good. So that's an example on a real world. That's fine. But how we are going to relate that particular piece with our framework world, right? Or a testing world, how we are going to relate that particular piece. From this concept, I understood that methods means we can create it for only once, but we can use it whenever I want it, right? So how the methods are going to work for us in the real world. So assume that we have a developer 1, developer 2, and a developer 3. For this developer 1, we are giving a functionality as a create user. This guy need to work on an edit user and this guy need to work on a delete user. Okay, so assume that we have a three different persons and they are working on a three different things here. So whenever these guys are working on these things, the first person needs to log in, then create, then log out. Even the second guy need to log in, edits and a log out. And the last guy should log in, delete and a log out. If you clearly observe, all the three persons are logging in and logging out from the application. right? Everyone is log in and log out. So the thing is, if the three developers need to write the same sort of a functionality, it's really waste of time for all the folks, right? Instead of creating login and a logout for all the three developers, what we can say means there's a developer one will say that for other two guys, don't write down the logic for login and a logout. I will write down the login and a logout and you can use it. So it means this guy is creating this login and a logout only for once, and the other resources are reusing that logic. So what it will happen with the help of reusing, we are saving our time. Ultimately, we are saving our time using this reusability, right? Saving our time, which in turn to save your effort as well. So if something is in place, why you want to redo that particular thing? Why can't we reuse it? That concept, we can call it as a reusability. So in this example, developer 2 and 3, they no need to focus on a login and a logout. They can simply focus on their core functionality, whichever is being assigned to them, with which they can save their time, okay, with which they can just save their time using that option. That's what the ultimate thing out over there, which we can call it as a method in a real world. The same way, in our automation testing also, we are going to create a bunch of methods, and we are going to reuse those methods. One person will create it and others can simply reuse that particular methods. Great. Then in that situations, how to create a method in Java and what is the syntax for that, right? Even we should know what exactly the syntax. So everything we are starting with an public. If you remember, we have started the things with the public itself. So I'm going to use the same thing here. Okay, just a second, guys. Okay, just give me a minute, guys. Sorry. Okay, so the next point which we need to consider is if you observe anything, whatever we are creating within the Java classes here, the class, it is starting with a public, followed by a class, followed by a method. Whereas moving on to a method, we need to define public void method name. As we are creating a methods, you will be opening a braces and a closing a braces followed by a name. And here you will open these braces. Inside this, we are going to write a logic for the methods. Okay, here we are going to write down the logic for this particular methods. That's it. That's a simple thing which you people need to consider here. Okay, go back. What I'm doing right now means, for my understanding, in the earlier class, we have created a variables, right? So let me create a new Java class. New, and I'm picking Java class as my option, example 2, and click on a finish button. And here, in this example class, I want to create a method. So public is common. As of now, we don't know what exactly this public does, but we will study about this public maybe in the tomorrow's class or in the Monday's class, what exactly the public will do. Public void is again the thing which we don't know. We will complete it void about void today, followed by a method name, login to app. So I'm just using login to an app. As per my syntax, I'm opening the brace and closing the brace, and I'm opening the brace inside of which I want to write down the logic. So here, assume that you are good at your Selenium Java logics. You can write down a lines of code here like enter username, enter passwords, click on a login button. Okay, click on a login button. So guys, if you observe, this is a comment. You know, right? Yesterday we discussed about it. This is a comment. I just added a comment. As as of now, we don't know any commands so far. Hence, I'm using a simple print statement here for my login. Okay, I'm just using a simple print statement for my login. So here, system.out.println login. I have defined it as a login. So whatever the method or whatever the info you want to print to the console, you need to place it in a double quotes. So system.out.println is a method which is used to print the given information to the console. Whatever the info you are giving, it's going to print the desired information to the console. And for this system.out.println, we need to pass the required information in the double quotes. Whatever the things is there within the double quotes, that particular stuff only it will print. For suppose for my login, I haven't added this one in a double quotes. It's throwing an error message. If you want to print something, that particular information should be in a double quotes. Log into an application. So I have added my logic here. And what does this system.out.println will do? It will print the given information to the console. So console is the tab whatever we have in an Eclipse editor, which will print down the logs and whatever the activities it's being performing. And in order to generate this line, the only thing what you need to do is you need to type syso plus control plus a space. Okay, plus control plus a space is the one that I need to specify here. And now when I run my test script as a Java application. Okay, so the thing is, this is just a class which has only a methods. This is a class which has only a method. So the thing is, in Java, the execution will start from a main method itself. Okay, the execution will start from a main method itself. So guys, if you don't mind, can you please give me a minute? Just a minute, guys. Okay, so here what it will happen means, usually in Java, the execution will start with a main method. If there is a main method, then only execution will start in Java. If there is a no main method, it won't start with the execution. Okay, good. Done the deal. So what it will happen whenever we have a main method? So here, the simple thing is, as in the current class, we don't have any main method. Hence, we are unable to execute it. As of now, I have just created a method. That's fine. As we studied about a method, just create a method. In some time, we will see how to call that particular methods. Okay. Okay. Good. So the next point which we need to consider on top of this particular one is I have created a login method here. Okay, and at the same way, let me create a logout method. First of all, I have expanded my Eclipse editor screen. Say I'm placing my cursor in line number 4 at the starting brace. Whenever I placed my cursor here, the ending brace is getting highlighted with a small border. See, if you observe line number 20, the ending braces is highlighting with a border. That means wherever you have a placed the cursor in line number 4 is the starting and line number 20 is an ending. To understand that one more clearly, I'm placing my cursor again on a line number 2, and this time Line number 2 is the starting position and line number 22 is the ending position. The ending position will be highlighted with a small outline border. See here, this 22 line is highlighting with a small border. It means that that's the end position of that particular one. Okay, good. So the same way here is a login method. Let me create a logout method also. Public void logout, and here system.out.println logout from the application. Again, here also the same logic will apply, as we don't know anything about Java and as well as the Selenium commands. I'm not writing down any logics here. I'm just using a simple print statement. Even in order to generate this line, the keyboard shortcut key is you need to type SYSO. You need to press Control plus the space, all the three things that will generate this new line. Good. So my example 2 class is a holding login and a logout. Assume that if you consider the earlier example what we have created, this developer, he created login and a logout. Consider this one, guys. This guy has a created login and as well as a logout. So what it will happen, the other two folks needs to use this login and a logout, right? How they are going to use it, right? We have these logics in place, but how can we use this information in another class? We have a login and as well as a logout methods in place, but how can we reuse those things by other persons or other developers? So here, before jumping on this particular one, we need to understand class and as well as an object concept in Java. In Java, there is a class and as well as an object concept which we need to understand. So let me open my documentation here, whatever I have. Okay, so guys, you know this documentation is already there in the driver folder. Okay, this documentation is there, and every day I am uploading the document which I am typing in. The same file will get updated in that driver. Okay, cool. And here, what is a class and what is an object? So, before jumping on to this class and an object, let me give you a small example here. Assume that I'm studying in a college and we have around 1,000 people are there in the college. Okay, there are 1,000 people are there within the college. Okay, if there are 1,000 people within a college, then a question out over here is, if there is an exam application form, will it be common for all the 1,000 people, or they will create different forms for individual people? It's not the case, right? The exam application form would be common for everyone, whoever is studying in a college. Just they need to fill in the information as per their details, right? Assume that I'm holding an application form. I will fill with my details. If Ramya is holding a form, she will fill with her details. If Payal is holding a form, she will fill the details. Assume that Surendra is from an IT background and Ramya is from a ECE and Payal is from a non-technical background. All these three people are studying in the same college with a different streams. Though we are studying in a different streams, we do have a single form which is common for everyone. The only thing it will change is in the form there are some check boxes, like if you are ECE, just tick this checkbox. If you are mechanical, check this checkbox, something like that. We will update that information in the form. So it means the application form is common for everyone, and the persons who are filling that form will vary. Right. The persons who are filling that form will vary. That's it. That's a simple thing which you people need to consider. Good enough. Done the deal. Then that's fine. What is a class and what is an object then? So class is a blueprint. Object, a specific info. As per this example, I'm saying that class is a blueprint and object is a specific information. A blueprint means the info which is common. The exam application form which is a common for all the people who are studying in a college, we can treat it as a class. And the form which has a specific information to a particular person, we can treat it as an object. So for the real world example, whatever I have explained, I just converted it into a class and an object. The common application form, we can treat it as a class. This class we can also call it as a blueprint. It's common for everything. Basically it's common for everyone. Okay, it's common for everyone. Whereas as in the object, we have a specific information related to a one particular person itself. Gets. Now let us see the definition whatever we have for this particular class. Okay, a class is a blueprint from where the individual objects are created. So it means objects are getting created from class. That's one thing. And the second thing is collection of variables and a methods. We can treat it as a class. A class is a group of objects, and a class in Java contains variables, methods, constructor, and a main method. As of now, we haven't studied about a main method and a constructor, but I know about a variables and a methods. If you look at your Java class, whatever we have created earlier, the example 2 is a Java class which has a methods. They have a mentioned as a second point here, and the first point they have a mentioned as a variable. So in a Java first class whatever we have a created yesterday, it's a combination of a variables. So it means a single Java class contains a variables, methods, a constructors, and a main methods. It doesn't mean that you have to create all variables in one class and you have to create a methods in a single class. So you can maintain one class which will be a combination of variables, methods, main methods, constructors, everything. A combination of all these things, we can consider it as a Java class. Good, that's fine. So the class which we studied so far, it doesn't have constructor and a main method. That's fine. If you look at the syntax, basically, public is a keyword, class is again a keyword, followed by a class name. That's it. And even if you look at the class, whatever we have created in an Eclipse editor, public keyword is there, class keyword is there, and example one is the class name that what we have created. And here, string, breed, int age, string color. These are the three different variables what they have created in a document. And even if you can look into here, we have created a boolean, integer, float, double character. These are the different variables whatever we have created. And here they marked it as void barking. And here I can see these two braces with the minch. I can confirm that this is a method. So here, if you can look at your method also, we have a void followed by a method name in this braces. The only thing what I have added is a public keyword. Public is a keyword that I have added on top of it. That's it, nothing more than that. Okay, done the deal. Am I clear for you guys till now with respect to the class and as well as the syntax? Okay, cool. Done the deal. Done. And then, okay. And then, okay. And then the next point on top of this one is a class is holding this particular methods and as well as a variables. That's good. So we understood what exactly a class is. Then what is a variable? So, oh, sorry, what is an object? If an interviewer asks you what exactly an object is an instance of a class. Simply, the other class, whatever we have created, we can access it using an object. Okay. In other words, we can say that object is a bundle of related methods and as well as variables. And every object has its own state and as well as behaviors. Okay, Objects generally used with the constructors. We will study about this point later. Understanding of an object is the most important thing for our automation testers. And even we can create multiple objects for a single class. Okay. The ultimate point which we need to consider is object is an instance to a class. So the point out over here, what we need to consider is if there is one class using the object, we can create an instance to that class, and even using the same object itself, whatever the info is there in that class, we can use it. That's it. So it means the ultimate point here is with the help of object, whatever the information is there in one class, we can access it in another class. So it means with the help of objects, we can access info present in one class into another Java class. That's great. I understood this point. Now, go back to an Eclipse editor. Let me create a new Java class. New Java class with a name as an example 3. And here I'm specifying that objects and call login comma logout from example 2. I have written this word. See, I understood that using the object, we can access the information present in one class and in another class. As example 2 is my one class, example 3 is my another class. I'm writing down that information in a plain English. As we know English, we can understand it. But Java compiler won't understand this plain English. So it doesn't mean that you have to write down the plain English keywords there. There is some syntax for the objects which we need to follow. If you follow that syntax, then only your Java can understand that. See a simple example, guys. Assume that we went to an ATM machine and without inserting to the your debit card into your ATM machine, if we are passing a voice commands to your ATM machine, will it understand? Like, I want money from my account, give $10,000 or give $500. Will it understand? It won't. You need to communicate in such a way that how the machine will understand. How machine will understand? You need to insert a card and type in your pin, and you need to choose an option as a withdrawal. You need to choose an amount, and then you need to hit an enter. Then the amount will be debited, or then the amount will comes out from the machine. It's not that just by passing a voice commands your ATM machine will give you money, right? The same way here also, it's not like just by writing a plain English language, your Java program will understand and it will create an object. Everything, whatever we are working on, will have a unique syntaxes. You need to understand those syntaxes and you need to implement those syntaxes. Then only the things will be established and then only we can get an output from that. Okay. Am I clear for you before jumping on with the syntax? Arul, Payal, Sahiti, Ramya, everyone, Padmaja, good, cool, done the deal. And then the next point, which Payal, are you there in the session? Okay, cool, done the deal. Okay, so this is the thing. So this is the way how exactly we can create it. Then definitely there would be a syntax. Let me go back to the documentation again. And here the syntax for this one is simply declaring a reference may not work. There are three steps while creating an object to a class. It doesn't mean that directly you can go ahead and create an object to a class. While creating an object, you need to consider these three different steps. The first one is a declaration. A variable declaration with a variable name with an object type needs to be specified. Okay, we need to define a variable and with a object type. So here va- every variable there should be a data type that needs to be passed, right guys? In Java, for any variable, data type is a mandatory. As for that documentation, what they are saying, pass the object type. We'll see what exactly this object type with an example. And instantiation, the new keyword is used to create an object. So creating an object means in Java, the new keyword is used to create an object. The new operator will be allocating a memory for that new object. So whenever you are creating an object, you have to use a new keyword. This new keyword will allocate some memory in your machine for that particular class. It will get that particular memory. Okay, the new keyword followed by a call to the constructor will initialize the new object, followed by a constructor or a class. As we don't know anything about a constructor, so what does it is saying? Basically, you need to define one variable as a first step, and followed by that variable you need to create a new keyword, and in addition to the new keyword you need to pass the class name. So let me do the 2 and 3 steps now. So go to the third class, and I'm using here. I'm not creating a new object directly. So new example, the class which is holding the methods example2. That's what I have created. So my second step is adding a new keyword. And the third step, what it is saying, immediately after the new, give a space and give the class name for which you are creating an object. Good, I have created that. And the first step is declaration. So whatever the outcome from this particular one, you need to declare it in a variable like a string something, the class name I'm just defining here. Okay, so here string example2 is equal to. So here this one shouldn't be like, okay, this one is not a string, it should be an object. So everything, the super class, the class itself is considered as an object. Hence what we are doing means directly for the class, whatever we are creating an object, we will give a class name. See, basically here guys, for this new on a left hand side, I'm giving obj name as a variable guys. Okay, so here obj name as a variable I have a declared, a variable I have a declared as a obj name. To this variable we are using a new keyword followed by a constructor name. That's fine. So whenever we have a defined that, it is stating that it's a mandatory to pass a variable data type, and which is asking to pass an object type itself. So it means for which class you are creating an object, you just need to pass on that information here as a data type for this particular one. That's it. This is how the object will be created. See guys, as we have seen that there are 3 steps. If you come with the second step, we need to define a new keyword followed by a new keyword for which class you are creating an object. I'm creating an object to an example2 class. And as for the first thing, they are asking me to declare a variable. I'm declaring a variable. And for which class you are creating an object, you need to define it as a data type for that. Example2 space obj name is equal to new example2 is the object creation syntax. That's it. So the syntax for the object creation is class name space obj name is equal to new class name is the object syntax. Immediately, a quick question will rise in our mind where we will create an object in the class where we want to use other class methods. There we will create an object. In the current example, my methods are in example 2, and I want to use those methods in example 3. Hence, I will create an object in example 3 class for example 2 class. That's it. That's the simple thing. So basically, this thumb rule is where you want to create an object, where exactly I want to access the methods. To which class you have to create an object, the class which is holding the methods I want to create an object. That's it. That's a simple thing which you people need to consider. Okay, guys, good enough or any questions for me so far? Guys, do let me know if you have any questions. So we have studied things up to here. We have to see the practical example of this object, which I will explain in another few minutes. But before that, just let me know if you have any questions. And if you are unable to unmute yourself, then kindly use the chat window and let me know your questions. Okay, kindly use the chat window and then let me know if you have any questions. Good. Considering your silence as you're good so far. Okay, good. Done the deal. Done up to here. And now that's fine. So the ultimate point of what we have studied so far, guys, we studied how to create an object. We have studied how to create a variable. We have studied how to create a class. We have studied and how to create a method. We have studied. Then the next point is where to create a method. I know how to create a method, but where exactly I need to create a method, right? See, I know how to withdraw money from a ATM, but before that, I need to go to an ATM to get the money, right? The same way here also, I know how to create a how to create an object, but where exactly we need to create an object? Can I create an object directly in the Java class? Let me give a try and see what it is happening. So this is the example Java 3 class what we have created. As per this syntax, I'm creating an object. Example 2 is my class name, obj name. And immediately another question will rise in our mind. We are using an obj name. Do we need to use a obj name? It's not like that. You can give any name. I can give Ramya, I can give Sudha, I can give Radha, anything I can give out over here. Okay, I am giving Sudha as a name right now. Sudha is equal to new example 2 is the keyword I have created. That's it. I just created my method here, or I just created my object here within this particular class. Good. Then what we can do with the help of an object, using this object, Sudha, we can access the information present in the class. So my example 2 class is holding a methods Sudha dot. I want to access the login and a logout methods. So I'm calling what is my method name for login. So login to app, copy the method and place the method name here. Okay, Sudha dot login to app. I'm calling the method here. So my Java program is throwing an error message. Whenever I mouse over on that particular error message, syntax error on a token login to app, identifier expected after this token. So it's trying to say something, right? So the point out over here is there should be a main method to a Java class. Within the main method itself, we can access all the stuff present in a one class in an another class. I don't know how to add a main method, but we know main is a keyword. So directly type a main control plus a space. So whenever I use a main control plus a space, my Eclipse editor is giving me a suggestion here. Public static void a main string of arguments. Hit an enter button. That's fine. So I don't know again what is a public, what is a static, what is a void, what is a main, a string of arrays and as well as arguments. I don't know anything about that. But only thing I know is I just typed in a main, automatically the entire info got populated. Now, the same example 2 space obj name is equal to new example 2. Then I have a created obj name. Now, when I press a dot, whatever the methods are there in that particular class, I can see that. If you scroll down here, I can see log into app, log out from an app, and log into app. Void is a keyword which we have created for the method. It's populating here, but you don't know what is a void, what is the significance of a void. We will see. But example 2 is the class from where you are calling. Example 2. Obj name dot logout. Again, I call this method. And now when I perform right click run as, I have a I have a Java application. I'm clicking on this Java application. It's getting executed, and the content present in those classes will be executed here, and it's printing to the console. Okay, the content will be printing to the console. Okay, cool. Done the deal. Done up to here. Okay, cool. So, so the next point of which we need to consider here is, okay, I have specified my required things and it's getting printed to the console. So what is this public static void main? Anyways, we are going to study about them. Slowly, we are going to study one after another. But the ultimate point here, what we studied, guys, so we have created a method in one class, which is an example too, and now we called those methods in an another class. Okay, this is the thing, that's what we have created. Okay, done the deal. Done up to here. Am I clear for you guys, or do you have any specific questions for me? Do let me know if you have any questions, guys. Yeah, yes, in the main function. Yes, cool. Just a second, guys. Just a second. Okay, give me a minute, please. Yeah, that's it. So that's a simple thing which you people need to consider and how you need to deal with it, guys. So let me recollect the topics what we have discussed today. So we started with a method concepts. We studied what is a methods, right? So what is a method? Methods are created for a reusability purpose, one time creation and multiple times usage. And on top of it, we created a new Java class in which we created a methods. Okay, we created a new Java class and in which we created a method. And inside that, after creating a method, we studied about what is a class in Java and a method in Java, sorry, class and object in Java. And after that, syntax for creating an object, right? And on top of it, we created a new class and we created an object to the existing class. Finally, we called the methods present in one class into another class using this object concept only. Using this object concept only, we called that information present in another class. And as part of the next session, what are we going to study means we will work on methods furthermore. We just created a simple method, right? And next we will create a method for some adding functionalities. And furthermore, we will see what is a void in a method, what are all the other values we can replace as part of a void inside a method. Followed by that, okay, once we are done with that, followed by this particular methods, we will study an overview on a strings and examples we will study. And maybe on a Monday's class, we will see about tomorrow, if time permits, we will see an overview on main method also. See, main, it's generating a syntax, but we don't know what exactly the stuff involved in that, right? What are all the keywords are there? We will study all those things in the tomorrow session. Cool. So this is a high level overview on this stuff, guys. Am I clear for you all or any questions for me? Sahiti and Sahiti. Um, Sunita, Payal, Arul, Ramya, Padmaja. Any questions or you are good so far, guys? Okay, good. Done the deal. So go ahead and yes, yes, Ahiti. Hmm. Uh-huh. So, which we will see in the tomorrow's class only, Sahiti. So, as of now, in the today's class, we just studied a basic example of how to create a method and how to call a method. As by today, we were aware of this concept. So, tomorrow, what we are going to do means, I said that we are going to create a multiple methods, right? So, among all those the methods, even we will see if one method is generating some output, how are we going to reuse that output in another method? Or if I have a defined something in one method, how to reuse it in another class or another methods also. All these relations and advanced concepts on a methods we will study tomorrow, Sahiti. Okay, cool. No, you can't create any objects for the methods. See the simple thing. So where the methods are holding, we are creating a methods inside a Java class, right? All the methods are inside the Java class. So you need to create an object to that Java class itself, not for the individual methods. The class which is holding either the methods or a variables. Everything in Java will be driven with the Java classes itself. Okay, anything if you want to do, you will start with a class level itself. Okay, good. Done the deal then. That's all I have for today, guys. Please go ahead and practice this stuff from your end. As you were aware, if you want to practice the stuff within the sessions, please utilize these 10 minutes and then practice the stuff within a session itself. It's up to you. If you want to practice in the class, just practice it now. Or if you want to drop off and practice it, it's up to you. Choose whichever the option you want and practice it. I'm going to upload the recording into the same Google Drive folder.